Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about how you can factor in a takeaway when you're dieting. I'm going to be looking at how you can build your day around having a takeaway, but I'm also going to give you plenty of options when it comes to ordering your favourite foods. It's an ideal topic for me to be able to share my experience with you as a competitive bodybuilder around how I've dealt with different foods and how to incorporate them into my diet. By the end of this video, I'm really hoping that you're going to feel much more comfortable with having a takeaway and being able to enjoy the experience as much as possible. Let's get started with how you can build your day around having a takeaway. What I would do is start my day with having a protein shake. You can do that with water or milk, whatever your preference is, kicking that day off with a nice serving of protein. I would then, for my next meal, look to have something like a tuna or a chicken salad. I would look at salad items like lettuce, tomato, cucumber, anything like that that's going to be much lower in carbohydrates than maybe what you're used to having. You can then have whatever your preference is for your protein. I would then look to have a protein shake a few hours after that, or if I'm not hungry, you could then wait till your evening meal being your takeaway. Another way to look at this is potentially offsetting your calories the day before and the day after having a takeaway. This could be really good if you know your takeaway is going to be much higher in calories than you're used to, or if you're potentially going to go out for lunch and dinner on the same day, then having those two lighter days either side of that could really lend itself nicely. What we're going to do now is look at 5 of the most popular takeaways that we like to order and enjoy over here in the UK, and I'm going to give you plenty of options to consider. We're going to start with my absolute favourite, and that's Indian. First things first, do you want to use your calories on things like poppadoms when looking to order your main? If you go for something like a creamy curry, so like a korma, you could swap that for more of a tomato-based curry. An extension from this would be to go for something like a shashlik. I'd also look to consider having your meat as one of the leaner sauces. So you could have chicken rather than lamb, or you could even look to something like prawns. If I'm going to have rice, I would go for a boiled rice rather than a fried rice. And for naan breads, you could look to swap things like a cheese or a Peshwari naan for a plain naan. So these are all really easy things that you can think about when looking to order an Indian. Next, we're going to talk about Chinese. Now, I know this is a really popular choice when it comes to ordering a takeaway, and there's plenty of things that you can look at to bring those calories down and still enjoy the experience. So first of all, we can look at what you choose for your meat source. When it comes to ordering a Chinese, a lot of the menu will be dominated by the deep fried option of something like chicken. So you could look at going for the fried option rather than the deep fried. When it comes to ordering your main, you can think about swapping something like satay, which is going to be higher in fat, for something like chicken that comes with bamboo shoots or different veggies. You can also think about, do you want to have the prawn crackers? You can then look to consider things like your rice, so going for boiled rice rather than your fried rice. So very, very easy things to look at. We're going to take a look at one of the nation's favourite fast foods, and that's McDonald's. When you order, it lists all the different calories for the different items that you can have. This is a really great way to go in, have a scroll through the menu, and potentially look at what you'd normally have and see if there's other options that you like, because you still want to enjoy this, and be able to just make a really easy swap. Some of the obvious things to consider would be, if you're going to have a burger, then instead of having, say, a double burger, you could go for a single one. You could swerve on the cheese. You could potentially swerve on sauces as well. You can also look at, if you're going to have a whole meal, would you have a full fat Coke or could you have a Diet Coke? When it comes to chips, could you have a small portion or potentially swap that for a salad bowl? And that's definitely going to help you feel a lot more on track when you're dieting. You could maybe even consider having something like a Happy Meal rather than a Big Mac meal and swerving on additional sides. Another really popular fast food chain is KFC. Most of the items on the menu are going to be your deep fried chicken, But if you go over and have a look on their website, you'll actually see that there's different types of chicken that you can have. So instead of something like a Zinger Tower burger, you could have a chicken fillet burger. And that's just going to bring those calories a little bit more diet friendly, and you can still enjoy your KFC. If you want to have something like chips, could you have a smaller portion? You could potentially look at swerving on things like the coleslaw or the KFC gravy. Instead of the gravy, maybe have one of the small pots of ketchup, and that's going to reduce the calories. Drinks, could you have a diet drink or a water instead of a full fat option? We're going to wrap up today with a bodybuilding favourite, and that is pizza. The first thing is, what base and crust are you going to choose? If you are looking to incorporate something like pizza, you could easily go down to the thin crust, and that's going to shave calories from if you were going to have, say, a thicker base or something like a cheese-filled crust. So that's our first consideration. Second thing is, what toppings are you choosing? So just be mindful of things like pepperoni being higher in fat, and potentially going for something like chicken instead. You could maybe look to add lots of different veggies. And the last thing I want you to consider is, do you want to order a dessert as well when you're looking to have a takeaway? Ultimately, if you're looking to diet, changes are going to need to be made. But I'm hoping that what I've taught you in this video will help you still embrace different foods in your diet. And if something like your birthday comes up, you can still immerse yourself in that experience and enjoy it. I really do hope that you feel like you can still move forward and make progress, but enjoy some different foods along the way.